Cambodian police clashed with protesters in the capital on Thursday. It's over a long-running dispute over housing evictions. Human rights groups say the government kicked people out of their homes so they could sell prime real estate to foreign and local businesses.
Cambodian protesters clashed with police on Thursday over a long-running dispute for a luxury housing estate. Rights groups and foreign aid donors have complained that state officials are forcibly evicting farmers, villagers and city residents to sell prime land to foreign and local businesses. Police armed with shields, sticks and electric batons broke up the group of about 100 protesters who had gathered in front of Phnom Penh City Hall.
I am suffering. I am a Khmer like others. Why are they doing this to the people? They fight. They beat people with no mercy. They do not find solutions for the people.
The estate is to be built by a Chinese developer and a well-connected Cambodian tycoon. I think that the authorities were too harsh on the protesters. I know that they want to restore the public order, but they should find another peaceful solution for everyone. According to a Cambodian group monitoring forced evictions, 30,000 people were moved off their land last year, and an estimated 150,000 more evictions are expected in the next few years. Officials have argued that the planned urban development will help the Cambodian capital. Phnom Penh's Buengkak Lake is being bulldozed to make way for a luxury housing estate to be built by China's Inner Mongolia Erdos Hongjun Investment Corporation. It has pledged to spend $3 billion in Cambodia on real estate, metal processing and power generation. More than 2,700 families have already been driven from their homes around Buengkak, and around 1,500 refusing to leave, protesting each day and rejecting the developer's compensation of just $8,500. Their latest demand is for 688 square feet of lake land to be left for each family. The property developer, Shukaku Incorporated, plans to build high-end shopping centers and housing on the new land.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Thursday, April 21st, 2011, and I'm Darko. Welcome to part 2 of this news bulletin, everyone. My website is www.ggnonline.com. That's ggnonline.com. I just posted a poll here. Do you think gasoline prices will exceed the $5 mark this year? And I've had a couple of people come in here and vote so far, and they're saying 66% are saying maybe, and 33% saying yes, and 33% saying not sure. All right, I'm going to move on here. It says here, soaring fuel prices hit the big getaway. It says the Great Easter Getaway begins tonight with soaring fuel prices set to make it the most expensive ever. And then we have this, soaring fuel costs sap U.S. airline profits, skyrocketing fuel costs lowered major U.S. airline earnings, but higher fares bolstered revenue for the carriers and helped make up for that mounting burdens. You see? Obviously this is just, economics, but it's the same story as the other ones. It's these companies, they're going to pass on the higher cost to you. They're still going to get their profits, but they're going to pass the higher cost for them onto you, so you pay higher prices. So that's basically what it's saying. Same here with McDonald's. McDonald's warns of higher food inflation, and there's another article saying that their profits were up too. McDonald's Corp forecasts higher prices for beef, dairy, and other items, and said it would cautiously raise prices to keep attracting diners who are grappling with higher grocery and gas bills. Okay, we have home prices in U.S. slide 5.7% as distressed properties weigh down values. We have mortgage rate falls, 30-year fixed at 4.8%. It says mortgage rates fell in the last week for the first time in more than a month, with the average rate on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage falling to 4.8%, according to Freddie Mac's weekly survey of mortgage rates. Then the jobless rate. U.S. jobless claims stick above 400,000. And then we have this, jobless rate falls in most states, West still lags. And then if you look here, you can see the most impacted states as far as unemployment goes. And it looks like California, Nevada, Oregon, it was this Michigan, of course. Then you have Kentucky, looks like, what is this, Mississippi, yeah. And then you have Florida, 11%, Georgia, And so look at this, North Dakota at 3.6%, all these states right here. We're going to move on here. Got a crazy story here to report on. So Florida gives superhero capes to jobless. No joke. States have come up with a lot of ideas for reducing the nation's high unemployment rate, but Florida labor officials had come up with a unique approach to reduce the state's 11.1% unemployment rate. And it says here, the idea of distributing satiny superhero capes to the unemployed is a way to raise awareness about services offered by Workforce Central Florida, a labor development agency, said, but some say the approach might be too unique. And there's one thing going on now with food stamps in Illinois that they're trying to put IDs on there, like photo IDs, and it's basically to, and the purpose is, this is according to law, the lawmakers and that, the political lawmakers, not common law, is they want to deter people from applying for food stamps. So it's a good way to do that. And that was their reason for it. And maybe this was a way to deter people from collecting unemployment. Who knows? But it says here, big U.S. firms shift hiring abroad, workforces shrink at home, sharpening debate on economic impact of globalization. Well, it was all by design. That was what's supposed to be happening there, and that's why, companies in the U.S. get paid by U.S. tax payers to move offshore and set up. So U.S. multinational corporations, the big brand name companies that employ a fifth of all American workers, have been hiring abroad while cutting back at home, sharpening the debate over globalization. Like if there was ever a debate. Come on, guys. Where the wind blows, and it was blowing towards globalization for the past, 50 years. So, and the effect on the U.S. economy. Well, the effect is there's no jobs. There's no manufacturing. There's no real industry here. Just service jobs, banking, which is a bunch of scam, fraud banking, and of course, the military-industrial complex, which includes the pharma, agri, defense, and that's what makes up the economy. So. And like I said, fractional reserve banking. Okay, so let's move on to this little story here. GE's profit jumps 77%. GE reported 77% increase in the fourth quarter profit, leaning heavily on its large lending business, even as its core industrial operations picked up. Okay, then we move to this. Big U.S. corporations moving jobs out of the United States. Well, we just covered that. Then we have this. Spitzer, big U.S. companies created 2.4 million jobs overseas, cutting 2.9 million jobs here. And why is this important? This is the head of GE. GMAC, GE will cut 1,400 jobs on subprime decline. And this is back in 2007. That was under him. GE Aviation Layoffs Job Cuts fire 1,000 employees. And more layoffs. So this is his idea of fixing the job situation. President Obama travels to GE's largest energy division. I remember that. And then look at this. Obama and the Democrats in bed with General Electric, which pays no taxes. Well, they do pay some taxes, but there was a big battle with this story. So I don't want to say that they pay no taxes. I'm not saying that. This is just a headline that was going across the news. Then, of course, they tried to fix it. And then, of course, when Business Insider tried to go back and try to figure out what the heck was actually going on, it came to be that they were actually getting tax breaks and that, basically not paying as much taxes as other companies, right? And it says here, President Barack Obama or Barry Soetoro, whichever name you prefer, traveled to upstate New York to visit General Electric's largest energy division, delivered remarks on the economy. He was joined by GE CEO Jeffrey Immelt, who this morning was named chairman of the new White House Council on Jobs and Competitiveness. So that's who's going to be in charge of that, a guy who just basically cuts jobs and lays them off and goes overseas to get employment, right? Nice cheap labor. So debt warning rocks U.S. economy. Ratings agency S&P's has cut the outlook of U.S. sovereign debt to negative, raising doubts about Washington's ability to tackle its huge debt and fiscal deficits. Now, we pretty much already knew that, or covered that last time, but federal borrowing on pace to hit debt limit in less than a week, and then Geithner warns of catastrophic consequences if GOP blocks debt limit increase. And of course, it's just like the bailout and everything else. They just scare tactics and fear mongering in order to get what they want. And they'll get what they want because they always do. It's just their track record. It says here, Credit Suisse, America is not even close to being broke. Then moving on, European Commission urges budget rise. let's go back. So say they want the same thing, right? They want a bigger purse. They want a bigger bank account. They want to be able to rob people more. And then they, of course, when these big, fraudulent bailouts go on, they can have more. They can redistribute more money to these banks that, are committing fraud in that. And okay, exclusive, Egypt finance minister seeks $10 billion in funds. Okay, so Egypt is seeking $10 billion in funding from global lenders, I wonder who they are, and rich nations to cope with the cost of the mass protests that toppled the country's longtime ruler, which was, of course, steered by the CIA. Says here, Portugal discusses bailout with IMF, EU, so they're going for the bailout too. Then we have new EU plot to tax our food. So if I can move down here, I'm trying to get to this freaking article. My computer is just locking up right now. And this happens a lot, guys. I just basically have no control over my computer right now. Okay, here we go. So this is what we're working with here. Okay, the threat of a double tax rate on millions of Britons by the European Union caused uproar last night. Business leaders condemned moves by Brussels to seize control of value-added tax on thousands of everyday items. Of course, the value-added tax would be on luxury items, right? No, they want to stick them on everything now, including food. Why? Because that's what it was intended for to begin with. They just have to slowly, incrementally ease it into public discourse, right? And it's not even a debate because you don't really have a say in anything because it's not a democracy. It says it could send prices soaring and even allow the EU to decide whether to slap VAT, value-added tax on essential foods and children's clothing. Okay. And then the next one up we have here is my computer's just really locking up right now, guys. So we're going to try again here. We're having, quote, technical difficulties. The 30-cent tax premium, tax compliance employs more workers than Walmart, UPS, McDonald's, IBM, and Citigroup, all globalist companies here. It says here there is a lot more to taxes than simply paying the bill. Taxpayers must spend significantly more than $1 in order to provide $1 of income tax revenue to the federal government. So you can go in there and check that out. And it says here, MDOT or Minnesota Department of Transportation do test drivers' mileage tax, to test it. What does that mean, to test? That means that they're going to just do it, and then they're going to see how much the public are going to get pissed off about it, and basically threaten to storm the Capitol building and start sacking politicians for their criminal actions. And until that happens, or until people start supporting anarchy or real anarchy, which is a stateless society, then it's not going to happen. You're just going to get a big, as we call it in the Marine Corps, the big green weenie up your a-hole. Sorry, but I have to be, I'm a little pissed off right now because my computer's been messing up. Internet sales tax to be introduced in U.S. Senate. It says here, Dick Durbin could propose sweeping legislation as soon as Monday to tax all online purchases in a move aimed at closing states' budget shortfalls. And like I said before, this was also like the VAT. That was planned. The whole point of the internet was to monitor you and me and what we're doing. So everything that I'm saying now is being monitored, and it does go in a database, and all your emails and our emails and text messages, but ultimately they were going to tax it. They just wanted to get people hooked on it first, and then they can slap tax, right? So the next up, we have China plans tax cuts for lower income earners, and then we have New York City budget cuts, including closing of 20 fire stations while millions of dollars in toxic fluoride keep flowing in the water supply. And then we have now a home is burglared every minute as raids soared by 14%. So the number of burglaries shot up by 14% last year to 737,000, or more than one house break-in every minute. And of course, that's because of the economy. Well, folks, hopefully I can join you in the third part. Wish me luck on uploading these videos, because if I was having as much problems I was having just making this video, there's a good chance that I may not even be able to upload the other video because YouTube won't let me. So if it does work and it is successful, then join me in part 3 of this news bulletin. This is GGN, and I'm Darko. Thank you.